there, and welcome to the DIY Photo Organizing podcast, focusing on topics to help you with your photo management. I'm Chantal from Photos in Order.
And I'm Fiona from Photo Helper. Hi, Chantal. How are
Hi
you?
there, good. How are
That's
you?
good. Good, thank you. So today we are here recording to help a lot of our listeners out in a time of uncertainty, aren't we, Chantal?
Yeah.
So what we thought we'd do in this episode today is we're recording. With the view that we could help as many people as possible, knowing that there is a lot of uncertainty at the moment in relation to the COVID-19 outbreak that is very prevalent around the world. We thought that we'd provide some helpful information and some options to people if they find themselves at home for an extended period of time. So, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us. And we thought that we would jump in with, say, our top 10 ways that we could help you with some ideas on how to utilize your time if you are at home.
Mm.
So, let's jump right in. Chantel, let's what sort of short thoughts have you got that you'd like to share sort of straight up, or do you want to jump straight in, Chantel?
Um, yeah, I'm not sure. Good question. um, Look, what thoughts? As you mentioned just before, it's a very stressful time for a lot of people. Personally, I don't feel stressed out at the moment yet. I hope it
Yeah,
stays that way. It's sort of,
yeah,
keep calm and sort photos. But
yes, yes,
and given that, and I know it's the case for you too, we mainly work from home. We sort of have the ideal line
mm,
of work here. Um, but we, of course, know that many, many people are badly affected. They can't go to work. They might lose income. So, apart from all the health questions, of course, and the worry about how to stay healthy and not get that virus. So,
mm.
as you said,
It's a huge impact. Yeah,
it's massive, and the economy will suffer so badly. So,
mm,
but we try to see the positives as well, and to keep the mood up, and
yeah,
if we saw, if you do get stuck at home, and chances are that we all will be, um, how can we make the best of that time? And
exactly.
so we have these
Think-
tips, and look, we have to say they're not in any sort of particular order or priority. It's really sort of random tips and
Yeah,
ideas that we want to share, because this might be exactly that time that you finally can tackle that photo management project, whatever it might be. And that's really all we aim for today. We want to
yeah,
share these
exactly.
ideas, and please don't despair. Make the best of your time.
Yeah, and so we just thought we'd put these top 10
Mm,
ways to utilize your time. I think too, given that if people are, finding themselves at home for a longer period of time than they would
hmm.
usually, then it is an opportunity to sort of start sort of a chunkier type of project,
Yes.
and spread out with things rather than having to pack them all away. If you've got people
Hmm.
coming over and things like that, usually perhaps those things aren't happening as much at this time. So
Mm.
so
And
yeah, so this
yeah,
is, yeah, some
so
ideas and things like that.
you're mentioning of spreading out. That brings us to our
It's
first
the first
tip.
one. Yes, yes.
We suggest to sort and organize your printed photos, because you most probably still have printed photos. And as Fiona just said, now is the time to take that opportunity and to spread out and get these photos out, gather them all, start sorting them, and that tends to take a little bit of space. Having a big table somewhere where you can spread out is always good, and ideally you might be able to even leave it out overnight, because it might not be done in a couple of hours. But
Yeah.
it's definitely a good way to utilize that time, I think.
Yeah, so with the printed photos, even, that might mean if you've got some of those older albums,
Mm-hmm.
that the photos may be faded or discoloring, or they're in a, sort of what those old magnetic, what they used to be called, albums, with the sticky
Mm-hmm.
backing. Even just removing those photos from there, as far as those printed photos, if they're still in packets, there's a that sort of category of printed photos can cover a whole range of things. It's anything that's not digital, really. So it
Yes,
could be
yes.
frames, it could be, things that you've got in flip up albums, or a whole
Mm-hmm.
range of different things. So
Mm.
yeah, and it is one of those jobs that can take, it's space. And so,
Yes.
people do find that, they have to pack it up and open it out again. And yeah,
Mm.
so it's
Mm.
definitely, our number one as far
Mm-hmm.
as our top
Mm-hmm.
10. Well, not in order, but just it's on
Yeah.
our list.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
And it's
number
a good,
two.
I think it's
Oh,
actually a good start also because it's a once off. Once they are sorted and all that,
yeah,
it's done. You don't
it's
have to go
done.
back again and again like we tend
Yep,
to have with the digital photos because they keep coming in.
exactly.
Yeah, but go ahead with number two, Fiona.
Yes. All right. So, number two. So, this is, or our listeners will be very, familiar with this as far as our backing up, which is our number one golden rule. Um, but we've got this on our top 10 ways to utilize time at home, because, um, backing up everything, really, when you've got a lot of different devices in different places digitally, and you are putting them all together to back up, sometimes just having that extra time that you may have, um, you can just, write down the steps that you want to get done in all of the backups,
Mm-hmm.
and get a process in place to do that regularly. And sometimes that sort of thinking space, can take time to
Mm.
put a bit of a structure in line for that. So that's definitely on our list of things that you can do, is to do a backup of all of your digital information, so
Mm-hmm.
photos as well, and computers and things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
And by the way, to pretty much, I think, probably all of these topics that we're going to touch on today, you will find episodes specifically about these topics.
Yep. So if you want
Go
to
back
pick,
to past
choose one and grab
episodes.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Mm. That's just a little side note. So number three, that sort of ties in into number one with the sorting and organizing printed photos because the next step would really be to scan, to
Mm.
digitize it. And digitizing is can be quite time consuming. It's not difficult as such, but it takes time. And if, you know, usually
Yeah.
people don't have time, but now you
That's
might
it.
have. So it might be the perfect opportunity to tackle that,
Yep.
and to get a scanner, a good quality scanner. They don't have to be expensive, and
Mm.
scan albums or the loose photos or your kids' artwork or schoolwork. There's so many different things that you could scan and use that time for.
Yep, exactly. And I'm a big one on that, doing a lot of
Mm.
scanning myself. So I really do. And it's one of those things, once it's done and it's done once, then you can just include it in your hub, and you've
Mm.
got those photos, you can share them. And it's such a worthwhile. Everyone that I've done scanning for, really is grateful that they'd taken the
Mm.
time to do that, because then they can enjoy them in a whole new way. And it's really lovely to be able to
Yeah.
do. And especially, I think, in this time of uncertainty, there's a lot of posts going out there on social media, um and people wanting to look at the positive side of different things, and photos and reminiscing,
Mm.
is just, it's a sense of security, I think people find,
Yes. Yeah.
and it just brings them back to some priorities that they have in their life, and family and relationships and things
Mm.
like that is definitely one of them.
And it's
And this is a
even,
way to be able
yeah,
to share. Mm.
it's even something, if you've got children that are stuck at home with you as well, because the schools, they're closing and some have closed already. In some of that work, you can totally include the children and let them help and have some fun together.
Yep,
Hmm.
definitely. Absolutely. So coming up to then number four, and that is as an idea, is to use the time to create a photo book for last year, for
Hmm.
2019. And that is something that, again, it takes time, a bit of planning, do some research on some deals that are out there at the moment, have a look at even the last episode we've done on digital scrapbooking.
Mm-hmm.
That could be something that you could do as well as a way to get into that if you haven't done a photo book before. Sometimes the research and looking into those things is what can stop people. So if you've got a bit of a
Mm.
plan in place and you've got some time, then you really could, at least know what software you're going to use, or which photos you can start to select and look at, and then create something, as a project from start to finish,
Mm.
using that time as well.
Great.
So that would be number four. Number five, Chantel.
Right. So that brings us back to a bit of, years that have gone by a while ago.
Yeah.
So you possibly still have some old media like, um, you know, very old 8 millimeter film reels, or
Yeah.
more probably maybe VHS tapes that still are buried in some cupboards or drawers, or a bit newer one, you possibly have old hard drives, old computers, USB sticks, CDs, DVDs, all these things that oftentimes hold photos. That would be something to go and find them all. And with the newer media, if you still have, for example, a CD drive on your computer, you can download and copy over these photos into your hub, and start gathering, collecting it all. Or if you cannot, if you don't have a VHS tape player anymore, you'll have to find a business that can convert them, and there's heaps out there. You've got options, find someone local, or there are businesses that you can post it to, and they will
Mhm.
convert it for you and send back the originals and the digital files. So that's a good time to do all that as well, I think.
Yeah. Yep,
Hmm.
definitely. I think it's one of those things that you need to, go into, places with boxes and things and find
Yeah.
and dig through. And again, it creates a mess, and some people,
Hmm.
that puts them off to do that. But if they know that they're going to be home for an extended time, then that might be definitely something to jump into.
Mm.
So number six on our list is to jump into some of the programs that you may have photos in. So this is one of those online type programs and things where you had a password and you're not quite sure what it was, and it's just sort of left there, and it's a bit of a mystery. And it's those things that you need to take a few steps to at least get that end result. So we say something
Mm.
simple of just download your photos from an online program, but for some people that's a block, because yeah, they do need to do a bit of digging to find
Mm.
out what that program was that they uploaded 300 photos to. And so it's really just a matter of going through and looking through maybe some old emails, doing some searches to find passwords and things like that, to either Google or maybe Apple Photos,
Mm.
things like that, and just get them out. If you don't have a copy of those photos,
Mm.
find the programs that they're in, find the passwords that you've got, or do a reset on passwords. Pull those photos down and get them in your backup for your hub.
Mm.
It's definitely what we would have as one of our
Mm.
things on the top 10.
Mhm. So, number 7.
Yes.
You could use the time to do some genealogy research. Take the time to dig a bit deeper, find out who these people were. There's again, we actually gonna air an episode about that topic very, very soon, and that will give you some more information,
Yep.
where you could find information, and create a family tree if you haven't got one yet. Again, as you said before, Fiona, sometimes it takes time to do a bit of research also, if you want to use a program for that, because there's so much out there. um, and it pays off oftentimes. Normally it does, to do a
Mm,
little bit of research and compare, and sit down and have a think of what do you actually want, what do you need. It's not always about pricing either. um, Oftentimes, especially if things are in the cloud, it's all about security as well. You might not want everyone to be able to see your family tree and things like that. So
mm.
this is the
Yep.
time to do some research and find what tools there are and how they can help you, and try and find out some information from the past.
Yeah, exactly. And you hear sometimes where people go into, photo organizing on their own photos, and they come across some photos maybe that has been inherited from another family member
Mm.
that's passed away, and what, as soon as they get one little bit of information in this area of genealogy, it just opens up a whole world, and it's just, they love then
Yeah.
exploring that, and going into the detail. And
Mm.
yeah, that it could be a time to look at doing, starting that process and seeing
Mm.
where it takes you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And look, just because we're stuck at home doesn't mean we can't talk to other people either. So maybe you've got another family member somewhere else, and you can connect through, Skype or Zoom, or just the good old phone,
Yes.
to have a chat and to start gathering information. Or you can email. So it's not like we just have to sit there and do nothing.
Yeah, that's so
We
true.
can still
Yep.
connect and communicate. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And about other topics other than, the issues that are going on as well, and
Yes.
just to bring, I think, just that positive energy, and
Mm.
just to be able to have that a rechanneling of that focus
Yeah.
can be good.
Mm.
So number 8. All right. So we've talked about a few things to do with, say, genealogy or photo books and things like that. And so sometimes that comes with needing to look at a new software.
Mm-hmm.
So learning a new software, or even learning a new photo management software. So when you do any sort of a new program that you're, that can do a job for you, either helping to manage your photos or create a photo book or something like that.
Mm.
Learning new software can take time. There's a lot of Google, a lot of YouTube opportunities. A lot of
Mm.
the software have their own training materials and things like that. So learning a new software or photo management software um, is something that would, be a great use of time. Chantal and I have used a number of different programs.
Mm.
At the moment, Lightroom is definitely an option that I love.
Totally.
Yeah, it is such a great program, and it's there's minimal costs really in the scheme of things,
Mm.
but there is cost involved. So please have a look at the options from Adobe for Lightroom.
Mm-hmm.
But learning that software, it can be a bit daunting when you first open
Yes.
it up and look at it. I think someone explained it as sort of looking at like the cockpit of a plane. It's like, what are all these gadgets and digits and um,
Yes.
some buttons? So it really can. There's some great training materials out there, and yeah, I think learning a new software is definitely something on that list
Mm-hmm.
that could be a great use of time.
Mm.
So that would be
Yeah.
number 8.
Okay.
And jumping in.
Number 9.
Mm.
And you might have missed us talking about that because it's a big one, of course. It's to create a digital photo hub. And when you've
Yeah.
listened to us with the five golden rules, this is actually our golden rule number three. So, what that means is to gather all your digital photos first from all these places that we have sort of mentioned before, from the USBs, from old computers, from your current computer. Gather everything in one place and then start working through it by, culling, deduplicating them, create a structure that you like. As you just said, Fiona, it might involve photo management software, it might not, because you can do all that without any fancy software. But that all plays a role in the digital photo hub as well, and you could, tag your photos, rate your photos, add the stories. Again, referring to one of our very recent episodes with Mara from the Filing Fairies. She shared some really great tips about how you can add your story to a photo. These are all things that happen in your photo hub.
Yep.
So, but first, of course, you need to create one, and that would be a good start.
Yep.
Mm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, our last one on our list, number 10, is to go through your photos on your phone. So, these are the kind of things that we've given tips along the way of, like, little 5-minute blocks when you're sitting waiting for, an appointment, or picking up a child from school, or, on public transport or something like that. But little chunks of time. But if you have got larger amounts of time available, then really, you could get a couple of hundred done, easily in a day. Really, I mean, it's
Mm.
once you get on a roll with these things, isn't that right, Chantal? You
It
really
is.
can. And then when you feel like, oh, I can do this, then
Yeah.
you can keep going. So just getting through that first initial hurdle of it being a bit overwhelming because there's so
Mm.
many, then this is definitely something that you could say, okay, for an hour each day or something like that,
Mm.
you can really get a lot done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we would say go through them, maybe, delete those ones, declutter the ones that your screenshots. We've got an episode coming up on things that don't not to keep in your
Yes.
photo hub. So, stay tuned for that. But
Mm.
just, really all the things that we've talked about before, just getting rid of duplicates or burst shots,
Mm.
screenshots. You've taken the price of something to compare at another shop,
Yeah.
things you don't need anymore, things like that. So, and rating them, either doing a love heart on your phone, doing a people tagging in the phone. You really can do a lot of good basic stuff on the phone.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, take the time even just to do that for longer chunks of time each day, and you'll be amazed with how much progress you can make.
Mm. And it will be good fun, to actually look at the photos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So that's good. So I think that's, hopefully it's, that's been helpful for you. So I'm just going to do a quick recap. So, top
Okay.
10 ways to utilize your time at home. We've got number one, sort and organize your printed photos. Chantel, number two.
Back up everything that's digital.
Great. Number three, we have scan either albums, loose photos, artwork, or schoolwork.
Number four is create a photo book, maybe for last year, of your last holiday, anything, whatever.
Yep. Number five, go through all your cupboards and find your old digital photos or hard drives, old phones or things like that, or old media, VHS tapes, things like that. Just sort of go for a bit of a hunt and gather
Sounds like
and
fun.
get them converted. Yes, indeed.
Number six is to download photos from online programs, from cloud places. Only, of course, if you don't already have them anyway.
Yep,
So, yeah.
exactly. Do some genealogy research. Number seven.
Number eight is to learn a new software.
Yep. And number 9, create a digital photo hub. Take the time and just get that done as a central place. So that's number 9.
Mm. Number 10, the last one is to go through your photos on your phone. Declutter, rate,
Fantastic.
tag, whatever you feel like doing. Hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
So, um, before we wrap up, we actually thought we'd like to give you some more tips of things that you could do with a bit more, detailed descriptions. So we have put together a resource list for you so you can really make the most of your time at home should you be stuck there. And we'll add the link to the show notes. So go there and have a look. I'm sure there will be something for everyone on that list. Um, and so I think all that's left to do is to thank you once more for tuning in today. And we really wish you and your loved ones, stay safe, stay healthy,
Mhm.
and take care of yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, I'm Fiona from Photo Helper.
And I'm Chantal from Photos in Order. And again, thanks for being here. Stay safe and happy photo organizing.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.